This week on the Big Eyes podcast, the heroes feel fear in My Hero Academia, a new queen is crowned in the Promised Neverland, and things get wicked with Jujutsu Kaisen. All this only on the Big Eyes podcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of the Big Eyes podcast. Once again, I'm your host, LJ. Man, so Shonen Jump let out an announcement that they are going on a 2-week hiatus or like a week hiatus, whatever. So hey, well, we're gonna be chilling until then. Probably come and talk about some old stuff, or I don't know, I'll find something fun to do next week. But this is also just kind of an offer for anyone who listens to the show, anyone that's a fan of the show, just a fan of manga. If you want to come on, and you can come on and we can talk about your favorite arc, your favorite manga. We could just shoot this shit about just manga in general. Man, just hit me up and don't be reach out. I've been I'm always open to have like people on here just get put on new stuff or just talk about stuff. So hey, if you listening to this and you like, oh man, I want to talk about this or like that, or it'll be fun to talk about, feel free to hit me up. DMs are open. But this week I knew that we were gonna leave off on a lot of cliffhangers for a few mangas that are going on, but this week had some pretty solid chapters. Chainsaw Man continues to be just very wicked. It's just very insane. They just keep getting more and more insane in Chainsaw Man each week. I'm sad that next week we don't get to see them one up what the craziness that is happening in that. But all right, so let's get into it, man. Let's get into these chapters of the week. So in My Hero Academia, we're really at the point where things are about to go left. Things are about to, my boy Shiggy, he's waking up. He's about to make his entrance. He's about to shake the room. And really right now, we are all just thinking, what is the next big moment that is about to happen in this story that is about to like mess us all up in the head? Because, they've just really, in terms of just the negativity, once again, they just turn it up every single time. And they just keep pushing things farther and farther. So, right now the heroes are fighting these new Nomus, and in this latest chapter, you kind of see how powerful these new Nomus are, especially given the power, or not even the power, but the ability to now like kind of think for themselves, like being able to strategize, being able to talk, being able to observe, being able to change their game plan. All these things that are making it 15 times harder for these heroes right now to carry out their mission. But really though, in this chapter, which I knew that all chapters this week were gonna leave on a pretty big cliffhanger, because of the hiatus is gonna happen for the next week. But when you are looking at this latest chapter, how they leave it, you really know that it's about to start being the beginning of the end for the heroes. Shigaraki, he is still in this tank, and he's still in this tank, and he's just in there getting all this power. And at the end, the tank cracks, and Endeavor is like, dude, you have to finish this. Like, we cannot let him out. Like, we cannot let him wake up. And it ends really with Mr. Mike and Aizawa, just like Mr. Mike, Aizawa, Miracle, and Endeavor all in there, just like, it is very intense. But now your head is really going, what is the next big moment? And to me personally, I feel somebody's going to die very soon. At first I was thinking Endeavor, which I do feel is not going to survive this at all. I'm fully convinced that Endeavor is going to die at some point. How it happens, you don't know, but it's either Endeavor dies or he catches a serious injury where he has to retire as a hero. Another thing I could see happening here is you could, there's 4 heroes down there. 3 of them in which are pretty big side characters in terms of Eraserhead and Mr. Mike, in which I could see Mr. Mike dying easily. I could see Eraserhead potentially getting, a serious potential injury or something like that. But that something crazy is about to happen next. And you're excited for this because this is kind of like, once again, we've talked about this before, but this is a moment that a lot of people have been waiting for. This is a moment that a lot of people have, like, you spend so much time invested into this story. You spend so much time invested into, all these characters, and we're finally at this moment where, this big battle is about to happen. Shigaraki is now he is going to make his appearance, which he hasn't done in a long time, but we know that when he did, it was going to be very menacing. It was going to be very intense. It was going to be something that is, really going to, in a sense, change the absolute whole direction of this story, or just change just how, the landscape. And so, we're very excited. I'm sad that we have to wait for this for another 2 weeks, but this cliffhanger they're leaving us on, it's really taking us there of what is going to happen next, what big event is coming next, what is the thing that is, what is the next big thing that's going to happen. But in terms of cliffhanger, it's a very good chapter. You could feel the tension just continuing to rise, and it's kind of at that peak where it's everything's about to unleash, and you're just like, now. But no, what a good chapter of My Hero Academia this week, chapter 268. They went crazy with it. The ending to things are very emotional, as we see on this week's chapter of The Promised Neverland. Wow. My boy Grand Duke, he pulls up and he's, he gets on stage. He's talking to the other demons. He's up there talking wild progressive, yo, we're about to abolish the farms. Farms shouldn't exist. We not eating humans no more. Other demons looking around bro, this dude's talking real, he's talking real crazy. This is not make demons great again. What is this dude talking about? And he breaks it down to him yo, listen, we don't even need to eat the humans no more. We can just take this, we could take this blood that we once thought was evil. We can quench our thirst. We can just eat whatever we like, pretty much. Whatever else we won't degenerate, and people are just thinking man, dang, it's gonna be real different though. Do we really want to do this? And he's pretty much you know what, yeah, this is what we finna do. We finna abolish these farms. We're finna be done with this. And everybody's going crazy. And they're you know what, yeah, he's right. Long live the king. You are a new hero. And he hits him with a curveball. It's just I'm not finna become king. Everyone's just thrown off. Everyone's what the hell are you talking about? You're not going to become king. You are you're the pretty much the next one in line for the throne anyways. Why would you not become king? And pretty much he just talks about how that ass whooping that he got, at the hunting grounds, that changed him. And he was just bro, I didn't even think I was going to survive that. He was they hit me in my core. I had a second core. He was bro, I was walking around lost in the forest, contemplating life, why did I lost to humans, what the heck. And he at the end he's just I feel Mujika should become the new leader of all of us, who is the young evil-blooded girl who was out saving people, and they try to make her seem like she was they try to make her seem that she was an op, and she wasn't. But they will, everyone sat there and they accepted it. They're you know what, why not? We're gonna start this new world. We're gonna start this new, why not have just a full-blown shake up of the whole demon world. And they crown her queen, and this young girl is now queen of all these demons. And the kids, they are listening on this radio that what of all this that's happening, and they flash to the kids and they're like, wait, what? Like the farms will no longer exist, like all the children like raised as food will be free, and they're cheering and they're screaming, and they end on the absolute most just tugging at your heartstrings moment of Phil and Emma finally seeing each other, and like Phil's what the hell, when did you, bro, he is stuck and he's like crying, and it just hits you right in the heart, and but we're it's finally at the end of the Promised Neverland, and I'm wondering, where does this fall all time in terms of manga. We're still waiting for the anime. Season 2, I'm very excited for, but I'm getting impatient for waiting. But where was this fall all time for you? Like, is this in your top 10, top 15, top 5? Like, I'll say it's in my top 10 right now. In terms of just mangas I've read, but what is just great way to end this. One of the best things about this ending too is the kids going back to the human world with their mom, and I love that so much because throughout the story they have talked so much about her and their relationship with her. Even when it came to escaping, they're just like, we don't want to separate from her. Like they still have these ties, and to see at the end her still being a part of their lives and going to be a part of their new lives in the human world, I think that's really one of the most beautiful parts of this ending. So what just a great way to kind of just to wrap this whole thing up. So many chapters, but we're finally here. But that final image of Phil, woo, had your boy, had the allergies messing up a little bit, man. Wanted to give my dog a hug or something, but what a Promised Neverland, is finally wrapping up. We'll see what the human world waits for them in the human world in a couple weeks. So we'll see. All right, so let me explain this story before I go on my rant about it. So I finally caught up on Jujutsu Kaisen. Did that thing where it's like you start reading something, get distracted, start reading something else, and you got to come back and like finish up. So yeah, did that. Finally caught up. We here. So, the story follows a young man named Yuji Itadori who gets tossed into this world of, curses, demons, shamans, exorcisms, all these things. This happens when he consumes the finger of this demon, and the demon that he does it just so happens to be like the strongest demon ever, where they broke up his body into like 20 different parts. And so right now the goal of Yuji, his friends, Jujutsu High, all that is to be able to find all these body parts before any other curses or demons can get to them. This story is so well written. It's crazy how good this story is. There's a lot of moving parts in this story. There's just a lot of things kind of going on, but they like thread everything together so flawlessly to me. I am buying 110% stock into this, like everything. I've had people tell me about it before. It's the real deal. Jujutsu Kaisen is the real deal. Like I said, like the storyline is so good. When you go into the characters, the first thing you got to bring up is just how dope they all look. Like, these are really well designed characters. They all look super cool. Shout out to my guy Gojo, who's the fucking dopest. But all these characters, like, visually they look cool as hell. And when you get into how they're written, the more you learn about them, the more you love them. Especially like the women in the story, because they're all like badasses. There's no like weird, they're great on their own. There's no weird like two guys fighting for a girl, or the girl is like searching for a guy, and like all her character development is into that. Like, all these women are just dope on their own, and that's one thing I really enjoy about this story. But the guys, they're in here, like, the more you learn about them and like learn about their past and all this, like even how they connect the past to the future in this story is just really tight. you know, and obviously, bro, the fight scenes, like the fights in this, in this manga are fucking insane. You just, these panels, how they do it, everything looks so fast paced. I'm really excited to see this animated. I really hope like none of this like pandemic stuff slows down production for this, and that we still get this in the fall. But it's such a good story. In the latest chapter, we're seeing Yuji in this battle, and with this is kind of like the first time I wouldn't say the first time, but you see him very outmatched in this battle. And as the story has gone, they have shown Yuji to be this very adaptive fighter, very quick on his feet. Like his physical prowess is above all others, not even mixed in with the demon power that he already has. And in this fight, like you just see him being very overwhelmed right now. And as you get closer and closer to fighting some of these stronger demons, you could just see how much more he's like, I have to like grow and get better. But Jujutsu Kaisen is just it's the one. It really is the one. And like especially during this time of this anime renaissance, where we're just getting it's not even just really about the quantity of stuff, it's about the quality of stuff too. Like there's just a lot of really good things that are just happening right now, and this is definitely one of them. And I really wonder like how this is going to change when this season drops, like when people see it. Especially for people who aren't big manga readers. I feel that this is one of those things that when they watch it, it has this horror feel to it, but like it's still funny. Like there's great bits of comedy throughout it. There's, like I said before, there's just great action, there's great storytelling. So like, man, Jujutsu Kaisen really is the one. And like I said before, like I'm buying stock in it, man. Like I'm full-fledged into it. So I'm happy I finally caught up. But yeah, chapter 103 this week. It was very based on action. It wasn't much storytelling in this chapter, but I think it's great because it allows me to kind of just rant about what I like about this story as a whole. But chapter 103, man, what a fun chapter to read, but what a great way to kind of end it, especially since we're going on this hiatus to so they left at a bit of a cliffhanger, but if you have not read it, this is actually a really good time to just dive into it and just get caught up, or just start it and just pound it out. But yeah, man, Jujutsu Kaisen is the one. And this wraps up this episode of the Big Eyes Podcast. Once again, thank you guys so much for listening. If you want to follow me on Twitter, follow me at Jamal SLM. If you want to follow me on Instagram, follow me at Straw Hat LJ. Speaking of Straw Hat Challenge still going on strong. I'm just me reading One Piece. I have a great thread on The Lookout. Twitter, and that is at The Lookout RNC. And where we got all the anime and manga content. Also, the Mount Silver is back. So for all my Pokemon fans, shout out to my guys, Pat, Mills, Jeff, all you guys. Just giving you all the Pokemon stuff where they're going through the Kanto region gyms. If you're a fan of podcasts, follow the main page at RNC Radio Live. All pop culture, music, wrestling, sports, whatever you need, we got it. Music. But once again, guys, thank you so much for the love and support. Y'all stay plus ultra. Peace.